Welcome all. Let us see today how do we make dashboard using the tricks that we have learned using pivot tables. We had seen how to create a pivot table in our earlier videos. We have seen how to create calculated fields. We had also seen how to reformat pivot tables. Also, we saw how to use pivot chart to create chart out of tables. Here I have prepared a demo dashboard which we will be going to prepare in this video. This is how it looks. We have 4 different charts which is all built out of this data here. We have 2 slices which will filter the data in this charts and will give us the required information. First, let us see what this chart can do. Let me first clear this slices. So currently none of the filters are applied. We can see a chart which tells us the sales trend over years, how the sales has progressed in the year wise trend. Similarly, if you see the trend for products in the adjoining figure, we can see that how product wise the sales has progressed. We can see product 8 has the highest sales compared with product 9. Similarly, there are different stores. So what is the sales trend in this individual stores, we can see, and store E is performing the best here in the overall trend. Now if you see in these individual stores, what is the contribution of different products? Okay, so here these are color coded, so we can see that which product is having highest contribution in sales for this particular store. Now when we apply any filter, like we can select a granularity that we required in our documentation, like this is a business management dashboard, so the requirement would be to drill down on at month level and quarter level. So if we want to understand what is the performance in quarter level, we can select these options here. We can see that the entire data has changed for quarter 1 for all these years, for all these products and for all these stores. When you select quarter 1, you see the month filter is by default changed to January, February, March, which is defined as quarter 1. So this is a very interactive dashboard which we can prepare easily using pivot tables. If you want to further drill into month level, we can select directly month and it will show you for that particular month what was the sales trend. Let's say you have a granularity of quarter. Now this is the sales for a quarter trend. If you want to understand what happened month level, we can select individual months and see that the highest sale had happened 1.71 in January throughout the years, whereas it was not that much in February, and in March it was lesser than that. So Jan had the highest retail in that quarter. So based on that we can take some actions accordingly. So let us start from scratch and prepare this dashboard from this data. So let us understand the data we have. This is the same data set which we had used earlier. We had date as one of the columns. We have stores. If you see stores, we have stores from A to G. We have products from P1 to P10, and we have the number of units sold for these products. Okay, to start, let me make another sheet and we will name this sheet dashboard V2. Now we have to select our canvas where we want to put up our dashboard. It can be dependent on how many charts you want to put in the dashboard. Let's say we want to select this much area for our chart. We will paint it white so that it is separated from the other cells, and we can put a boundary over here as well just to separate this. Okay, then we have to pre-decide how many charts we want to put into the canvas so that we have a good frame and uniform frame where the charts will fit in. So we can insert a text box for now. Go to text, we click on text box and we can draw a text box here. Okay, now we can fix the size of this text box by going to save format. Maybe we can make it 7.5 and we can make it 6. Okay, then we can copy this. We can make 4 charts since we want to put 4 charts here. Okay, just place it one below the other so that it looks good in tile format. Okay, then the next part comes is aligning. We can select the 2 boxes and we can go to align here on the top. We can ensure that these are aligned through their center, so this will bring them aligned through the center. Okay, similarly we can align this and this, top and bottom, using the same align option. Okay, using align center, so these are now aligned. Now we can same way we can align this with this, so go to align and align the middle, so these are now aligned. Now same way this and this we can align, go to align, align with the centers. So you can see this proper, these tiles are now placed in proper orientation. We can bring another text box for our sliders. So we'll go to the text, we'll click on text box and we can bring it here for our sliders. Now this gives us a frame to work upon. Next we need to bring in the pivot charts and pivot slicers so that this dashboard becomes complete. So before that we can add a header here. So we got some space here. In this space we can bring our header. Maybe if you want we can merge this and we can put here business dashboard. If you want to put any fancy text, we can select this, we can go to insert, we go to text. Okay, and we can select any text if you want from there. And we can also from here we can make our dashboard header. Further, this might require some editing because it has to fit into our dashboard format. So we can delete this and we can take this and put it there so that it gives a better view. Okay, we can include another space here so that we can then remove the borders. Okay, take it up, so that's there, right? So now let's drill into the data here. Now when I prepared this dashboard I had this working sheet, so let me hide this working sheet for now. We'll create a fresh working sheet. So we'll go here into a table. First is to create a pivot table out of it, so we'll go to insert, we'll go to pivot table, click on new worksheet. See the table has come up in the new sheet. We'll name this as data sheet for our reference. Now first chart that we want is, we wanted it to be trend based on our sales. So what we will do, when you put date into the columns field, it by default splits the date into years, quarters, months and dates. So our requirement right now is only sales, so we'll take years for now. Okay, then we can put the sales, number of products sold, into the values column. It will give the values here. Now how do we make chart out of it? Just we select over, click anywhere over the pivot table, we'll go to pivot table, we'll analyze, we'll go to pivot chart. Here we have a list of options to select. Since we use for trends over date series, we'll use line here. Okay, we can use line charts. Now what we'll do here, we'll bring years over to axis. So now this gives us a chart here. Now one problem here is that when you see here this particular chart, this is in terms of lakhs or millions. Now if you want to convert into 19 million, let's say, because this kind of figures when you plot in a chart will be clustering the chart and the visual appeal will go away. So let us now try to bring in, using our calculated field, change this number of sold products into millions. So how do we do that? We click on the pivot table, we will go to pivot to analyze, we will go to field items, calculate field, we go to calculated field. we'll give any name. We'll say sold in millions. Okay, then what we can do, we can number of we can, or we can, will give sold bracket in millions. Okay, now we'll say number of products sold divided by 1 million. So 6 zeros, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Yes. So, okay, so now you see sold in millions has come up, and you can see this particular figure is now 19.951393 millions. So let us now change the decimal view, okay, and remove this number of sold from the pivot chart. Now you see this figure, this range has changed now. Now this is better for charts, so we can take this chart and put it in our dashboard version 2. So we'll name this chart first. We'll put sales trend by years. If you want to further beautify, we can remove this buttons, hide all field buttons on the chart. Now this will remove all this. Further, if you want to format this axis, you can click on this format, and we can change the orientation as well. Now when you see here, we get variety of options for our axis. Okay, similarly, we can also change, if you want to visualize this, we can delete this here. Also, if you want, we can change the design as well by clicking on design. Click. This gives a much better feel to the chart. We'll crop this chart. Since we had decided that this particular table, this particular frame has a particular shape, that is 7.5 and 6, we'll try to reduce this sheet to 7. So how do we do it? Click on the chart, go to format, click here, and we'll try to keep it as 7. And since the width of this was 6, we'll try to keep it to 5.5. Right? So now this is how this chart will look. We'll cut it, and we go here, we'll paste the chart here and paste it inside. So this is looking very neat right now. If you want, we can delete this here, and we can add labels directly on the chart, so that this will be looking much more better. Okay, right. So now let us try to bring in other charts as well parallelly. So what we'll do, we'll go to that data sheet, we'll copy this. Now let's say we want the sales by products. So we want to go back to the pivot table. We don't want to bring years here, we want to bring the product. So we have product 1 to 10. We can sort this by right clicking here, click on sort, largest to smallest. So the largest one will be coming on the top. Then we can go to pivot to analyze and click on pivot chart. Here we'll try to plot a clustered column here. Okay, we'll remove the unnecessary legends, we'll remove the buttons. Okay, and if you want, we can remove this axis labels also. Okay, and we can put labels directly here, correct, and we can give sales by product. If you want, we can go back to design, and we can try to modify the design here, which will give a better feel. Okay, and we can, again, what we can do, we can format this by bringing it to 7, and this is 5.5. You can cut it, go to dashboard, and paste it there, and we can bring it here. So our shape here was 6, and with the width it is selected here is 5.5. Similarly here 5.5 and 7 centimeters, and here 7 centimeters. So the shape remains same here. We just have to align it properly so that it looks in the same line. Now let us try to bring other things as well. We go back to data sheet. We'll copy this pivot table again. We'll create another pivot table by just pasting it. Now here we want here the stores. We'll remove the product. We'll bring in the store, and this is how easily we get the sales by store. Now again, if you want, we can sort it basis our vehicle, sorry, the products sold from largest to smallest. This will give the sorted value. It looks better when the things are sorted in our data sheet or in our charts. So that is why we need to sort the data before putting in the chart. We'll go to pivot analyze, we'll click on pivot chart again. This time, let us see, we want a bar level in inclined fashion. So we'll put up here, okay, and let us try to sort it basis smallest to largest. So the largest ones are on the top. Let us remove this legend, remove the buttons, and we can mention this sales by store, and we can change the design so that it is consistent with our other features as well, and this is how it will look. To make it further consistent, we have to change the dimensions as well. We have 9.7.5 and this is 5.5, right? So we can cut it, we can go to our dashboard version 2 and we can paste it there, okay, and we'll try to place it in the center. So in a single format, it is 7.5 and this 5.5. Sorry, it's a 7, so we'll make it 7. Right. So now we have 3 charts. We need the final chart right now in the table. So that can be the contribution part, the stores, the sales by store by product. So to do that, what we can do here, in this particular sales, we can also try to bring in another pivot chart, and we can try to make a bar column which is 100% stacked bar. Okay, now if you go to pivot chart, we can bring in the legends here. So the legends will be our products. If you bring the legends here, see it changes, right? Now if you go back to our dashboard, this is also already changed. So what we will do to avoid this kind of errors, we will not make changes to the original pivot chart, okay, we will create another pivot chart out of it so that the link is not destroyed. Now in this, if we create another pivot chart, this issue will be resolved, okay. So we will go to bar chart, we will go to cluster 100% stack bar, we will bring in the product as the legends, and that's how we will get this chart. Now if you go back to our dashboard, see there is no change here. So it is an important thing to note that whenever you are making charts, ensure that all the pivot tables are different so that your other charts are not getting disturbed while you are creating new charts. Now it's simple. So we need to remove the buttons. We can add a chart title. We can put the chart title to be like say store sales by product. So this will be apt. Now we can change the design to make it consistent, yes, and then we can click the format and put 7 centimeter and 5.5 as our size for it to be in line with our design, and cut it and paste it here in the original chart. Now we can see how it is shaping up. So this is very similar to the dashboard that we saw here. Here we had put up the chart title here in the below. Now we are creating it on the top. Now we need to add in the slicers. Yes. So how did we create in our previous videos? We'll see create using same here. So now we can click on any chart first, then we go to pivot to analyze, we go to insert slicer, okay. Now either we can go to insert slicer or there is an option to go to insert timeline. Since we want to drill based on dates, so inserting timeline would be a better option here. We click on insert timeline, we click on date and click on OK. Now you see here, this is the range of pivot date range which we are talking about. We can do it this way so that whenever we select any month, the pivot gets updated, and similarly the chart in the background will also get updated, right? Now let us first try with the option 1, that is insert slicer. We go to insert slicer. Now when we see in the insert slicer, there is already this particular dates has been split into months, quarters and years. So let us go click on quarters. So when you get quarters, You see, this is how it will look, slicer. Now the point is that this slicer is only linked with this particular chart. So we need to link it with all the other pivot tables as well. So when you click on quarter one, you can see that only this particular chart is getting updated, and rest of the the charts are not getting updated. So how do we do it? We click on that slicer. We'll go to slicer. We'll go to report connections, and we'll see that all the pivot charts in our sheet will be reflecting here. So now you select this check boxes, and it will be updated. Now when I click on quarter one, you see that all the data are getting changed. Okay, so the trick is to add all the tables, pivot tables here in the selection when you are using the slicer, so that your single slicer can impact all the charts available. Now another properties that we can change here is slicer setting. And go to slicer settings, we can hide items with no data, so that we can see only data whenever we are, whichever filter we are selecting. Okay, if you want, we can change this name of this slicer to quarters only, and that will change it here. Okay, if you want to change the design, yes, there is the option to change the design also. You can select any design which you feel that will be suitable for your dashboard. Okay, now we can cut here, go to dashboard, and we can paste it inside our border so that it fits there. And now you see, if you select any chart, the underlying pivot tables are getting changed. That is why these pivot charts are now getting updated also simultaneously. This gives you a very good tool to drill down using your visual methods. Okay, right? Now if you want, we can bring in months parallelly in the same fashion. We'll go to any of this pivot table, we'll create a slicer using months. Okay, and we will try to report connection. So we'll select all the pivot tables here. Okay, now we can cut the, we can create it, we can select the slicer name to be months, and we can cut this and paste it in the versions, and we can pull it below it, so that everything, whenever we see any selection, it gets filtered. If you want to change the selection of the slicer settings, hide items, so that only those will be visible which are selected. Now here we are able to create a pivot table based chart dashboard so quickly and easily without any complexity. Now you see, if I select month, the data are getting automatically changed based on the underlying pivot table. So that is how you create a business dashboard using pivot tables, pivot charts, slicers, and your calculated fields. If you want, you can log this chart, this much part of the sheet, using different options available in review, protect sheet, and protect workbook, so that these are not edited or anything is not changed or the layout is not changed by the users. Okay, so this is a very simple dashboard that we have prepared. We can create data models right now with the existing feature of Power Pivot, which is the advanced version of pivot table, that we will see in our next videos. We will see these options of creating measures and KPIs and adding data to our model in our next coming videos, which will be advanced version. Okay, so before that, we will see some key additional points which we would require in our Power Pivot as our foundation. Thank you.